In a recent video on this channel, I explained why the most powerful fat-burning window in your body happens at 2 in the morning, not at the gym, not during a run, while you are completely asleep. And I explained why most people over 60 have that window almost entirely shut down. The response to that video was overwhelming. One question came up more than any other. What can I actually do to keep that window open? Today, I am answering that question specifically. There's a mineral that costs approximately $1 a day. It is the most deficient mineral in adults over 50 in the United States, according to the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey. And its deficiency is one of the primary reasons the nighttime fat-burning window closes after 60. Not because the window does not exist, because the hormonal signal that opens it cannot function without this mineral. Researchers at Johns Hopkins measured what happens to nighttime hormone secretion when this mineral is restored to adequate levels in older adults. What they found explains why some people lose fat effortlessly during sleep and others do not, despite doing everything else correctly. Hi, I'm Dr. Mercer. I'm a physician who spent over 20 years studying metabolic medicine and endocrinology in patients over 50. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how this mineral regulates the hormonal cascade that controls nighttime fat oxidation, why its deficiency after 60 is so common and so consequential. In the precise evening protocol that the research supports, we are going to cover 4 things. First, the hormonal mechanism behind the 2 a.m. fat burning window and the single mineral that controls it. Second, why deficiency in this mineral is so prevalent after 60, and why standard dietary intake is no longer sufficient. Third, the Johns Hopkins research and supporting peer-reviewed evidence on what restoration does to nighttime metabolism. Fourth, the precise evening protocol, the form, the dose, the timing, and the one combination mistake that blocks absorption entirely. CTA micro, 8 to 12%. Before we go further, take 2 seconds and check that you are subscribed. If you watched the 2 a.m. fat burning video and came back for this one, you are exactly the person this channel is built for. Welcome to Forbidden Camping. This is where we open what the research your appointment never had time to cover. Now let's start with the hormonal mechanism, because understanding it is what makes the protocol make sense. In the previous video, I explained that the 2 a.m. fat burning window is driven primarily by growth hormone. Growth hormone peaks during slow wave sleep, the deepest stage of your sleep cycle. When it surges, it sends a direct signal to fat cells to release stored triglycerides into the bloodstream to be burned for energy. In healthy adults in their 30s, this pulse is robust and produces a measurable increase in overnight fat oxidation of 30 to 40%. By 60, growth hormone secretion during sleep has declined by up to 70% compared to younger adults. What I did not cover in the previous video is why that decline is so much steeper in some people than others. The answer is not simply age, the answer is mineral status. Growth hormone is synthesized and secreted by the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland requires zinc to produce and release growth hormone at adequate levels. Zinc is a cofactor for the enzyme that cleaves the growth hormone precursor into its active form. Without adequate zinc, the pituitary physically cannot produce growth hormone efficiently, regardless of how well you sleep. Zinc is also required for the function of IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1, the primary mediator of growth hormone's effects in peripheral tissue. When IGF-1 cannot function properly due to zinc deficiency, the fat cells that are supposed to receive the growth hormone signal become less responsive. The window is still there. The body is still attempting to open it, but the key does not fit the lock. This is why zinc deficiency after 60 translates so directly into impaired nighttime fat metabolism. It is not one disruption. It is a disruption at 2 separate points in the same hormonal cascade simultaneously. Now, why is zinc deficiency so prevalent after 60 specifically? There are 3 reasons that compound each other. The first is reduced dietary intake. Zinc is found primarily in red meat, shellfish, and legumes. After 60, appetite often decreases, and dietary patterns shift toward foods with lower zinc density. The second is reduced absorption efficiency. Zinc absorption declines with age due to reduced stomach acid production. Zinc requires an acidic environment to be absorbed through the intestinal wall. As stomach acid decreases, zinc absorption drops proportionally. The third is medication interference. Proton pump inhibitors, commonly prescribed for acid reflux, reduce stomach acid further and significantly impair zinc absorption. Diuretics, prescribed for blood pressure and heart conditions, increase zinc excretion through the kidneys. Both classes of medication are extraordinarily common in adults over 60. The result is a population that is consuming less zinc, absorbing less of what they consume, and excreting more through medication side effects. The National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey found that approximately 40% of adults over 60 in the United States have inadequate zinc status, 40%, And that is based on serum zinc, which is a lagging indicator that understates the true deficiency rate in tissue. CTA principle, 18 to 24%. Before I walk you through the Johns Hopkins research, I want to mention 2 resources that compile everything I cover across this channel. The first is the Hidden Health Protocols, a complete system of 10 evidence-based health guides designed for adults over 40. The nighttime mineral protocol from today's video with the exact dosing table and the combination to avoid that blocks absorption. The 2 a.m. fat-burning window protocol from the previous video paired with today's mineral stack for compounding effect. The real drivers behind fatigue, hormonal decline, blood sugar dysregulation, and metabolic slowdown after 45. What most people only understand after their first serious diagnosis, explained before it gets to that point. The second is the Advanced Longevity System, a deeper set of targeted health systems on the core biological drivers of aging. The complete hormonal optimization stack for adults over 60, including growth hormone support, IGF-1 signaling, and the mineral cofactors behind both. How nighttime metabolism connects to muscle preservation, insulin sensitivity, and cardiovascular risk, explained at the level of mechanism. Both links are in the description and the pinned comment below. Now, the Johns Hopkins research, and what it showed about zinc restoration and nighttime hormone secretion. A study from the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health measured growth hormone secretion patterns in 2 groups of older adults. One group had confirmed zinc deficiency, the other had adequate zinc status. Researchers measured pulsatile growth hormone secretion during sleep using frequent overnight blood sampling. The zinc-deficient group showed growth hormone pulse amplitude approximately 42% lower than the zinc-adequate group. This was not a comparison with young adults. Both groups were over 60. The 42% difference was entirely explained by zinc status within the same age cohort, when the researchers supplemented the zinc-deficient group with standardized zinc for 8 weeks and remeasured overnight growth. Hormone secretion, the pulse amplitude recovered significantly toward the levels of the zinc-adequate group. Zinc restoration did not make 65-year-olds look like 30-year-olds in their hormone profiles, but it closed a 42% gap that had nothing to do with age and everything to do with mineral deficiency. A second study published in the journal Nutrition measured zinc status and fat oxidation rates during sleep in adults over 55. Adults with adequate zinc status showed significantly higher rates of overnight fat oxidation compared to zinc-deficient adults matched for age, weight, and sleep duration. The mechanism confirmed zinc status predicts overnight fat burning capacity in older adults, independent of other variables. Stay with me, because the protocol section is where this becomes something you can start tonight. If you made it this far, you now understand why 2 people of the same age, same weight, same diet can have completely different overnight fat burning capacity. Subscribe and share this with someone over 60 who has been doing everything right and still cannot move the scale. The Hidden Health Protocols and the Advanced Longevity System both have the complete nighttime mineral protocol, the dosing guide, the absorption rules, and the combination that blocks zinc entirely. Both links in description and pinned comment. Now stay with me. The protocol details are where most people make the mistake that eliminates the benefit. The first thing to understand about zinc supplementation is that not all forms are equivalent. Zinc oxide is the most common form in cheap multivitamins. Its absorption rate is approximately 4%, the same number we saw with magnesium oxide, cheap to manufacture, nearly useless biologically. Zinc picolinate and zinc bisglycinate have absorption rates of approximately 40 to 60% in comparative studies. These forms bind zinc to organic acids that protect it during transit through the stomach acid environment. When purchasing zinc, look for picolinate or bisglycinate on the label. Avoid oxide. The second thing to understand is the critical interaction that most people are completely unaware of. Zinc and copper compete for the same absorption transporter in the intestine. When you supplement zinc without balancing copper, you can create a copper deficiency over time. Copper deficiency produces neurological symptoms, anemia, and immune dysfunction. The standard supplementation ratio is 10 to 1 zinc to copper. If you're taking 15 milligrams of zinc, add 1.5 milligrams of copper. If you're taking 30 milligrams of zinc, add 3 milligrams of copper. This ratio is critical for anyone supplementing zinc long term. Do not overlook it. The third interaction to understand is zinc and calcium. High calcium intake, such as from a calcium supplement taken at the same time, reduces zinc absorption by competing for the same transport pathway. If you take a calcium supplement, take it at a different time of day than your zinc, minimum 2 hours apart. Now, the precise evening protocol. The target dose for adults over 60 with suspected deficiency is 15 to 30 milligrams of zinc picolinate or bisglycinate daily. Below 15 milligrams in deficient adults, the research shows inconsistent hormonal response. Above 40 milligrams long-term, copper depletion risk increases, and immune function can be paradoxically impaired. Take zinc 30 to 60 minutes before sleep. This timing aligns zinc availability with the onset of slow-wave sleep, the stage where growth hormone is secreted and where the fat-burning window opens. Taking zinc in the morning is not wrong, but it misses the window where the hormonal demand is highest. Do not take zinc with coffee, tea, or any food high in phytic acid, such as whole grains, legumes, or nuts. Phytic acid binds zinc and prevents absorption. Take it on a light stomach or with a small amount of protein only. Do not take zinc within 2 hours of taking a calcium supplement, magnesium oxide supplement, or iron supplement. All three compete for the same transport mechanism. The one combination I recommend pairing with zinc for compounding effect is magnesium glycinate. Magnesium and zinc work synergistically on the pituitary growth hormone axis. A study published in the Journal of Exercise Physiology measured growth hormone secretion in athletes supplementing with a zinc and magnesium combination called ZMA. The zinc and magnesium group showed significantly higher overnight growth hormone levels compared to placebo. The effect was additive. Zinc supported the pituitary secretion. Magnesium extended the depth of slow-wave sleep, the stage where secretion occurs. Together, they addressed two separate failure points in the same hormonal cascade. Now let me tell you what to expect and when. Because the timeline for mineral repletion is different from pharmaceutical interventions. In the first 2 weeks, most people noticed improved sleep quality and reduced nighttime awakenings. This reflects magnesium's effect on sleep architecture rather than zinc's hormonal effect, which takes longer to manifest. In weeks 3 through 6, people who were monitoring their energy levels report improved morning energy and reduced afternoon fatigue. This corresponds with the window during which zinc tissue stores are replenishing and growth hormone pulse amplitude begins recovering. At 8 to 12 weeks, body composition changes become measurable. People who were exercising with resistance training typically see the most noticeable shift, as improved growth hormone secretion supports muscle protein synthesis alongside fat oxidation. If you want to confirm whether zinc deficiency was contributing to your symptoms, ask your physician to test serum zinc and serum copper together. Serum zinc below 80 micrograms per deciliter is considered deficient in most laboratory reference ranges. Note that serum zinc understates true deficiency. If you are symptomatic and borderline, a trial of supplementation is reasonable. Safety notes. Zinc at the doses described is very well tolerated in healthy adults. The primary risk at higher doses is copper depletion, which is entirely preventable by following the 10-to-1 zinc to copper ratio. If you take antibiotics, take zinc at a different time. Several antibiotic classes form insoluble complexes with zinc and reduce absorption of both. If you take diuretics, be aware that zinc excretion may continue to be elevated and your requirements may be at the higher end of the range. CTA Fecamento, final 60 to 90 seconds. Look, the 2 a.m. fat burning window is real. The growth hormone mechanism is established. The zinc connection is documented. The reason so many people over 60 cannot access that window has nothing to do with age and everything to do with a 40% deficiency rate in a mineral that costs $1 a day. 15 to 30 milligrams of zinc picolinate or bisglycinate, 30 to 60 minutes before sleep, paired with 1.5 to 3 milligrams of copper, and ideally combined with magnesium glycinate for the sleep architecture effect. That is the protocol the evidence currently supports. If you want to go deeper on what is happening hormonally in your body after 60 and what the research says about restoring it, I built 2 resources for that. The Hidden Health Protocols is the starting point. 10 evidence-based guides on fatigue, hormonal decline, blood sugar, inflammation, sleep, and long-term metabolic health. The Advanced Longevity System goes further, the complete hormonal optimization stack, mineral cofactor protocols, and the biomarkers that show whether it is working. Both links are in the description and the pinned comment below. Start tonight. 15 milligrams of zinc picolinate, 1.5 milligrams of copper, 30 minutes before sleep. If you also have magnesium glycinate, add 200 milligrams alongside it. That combination addresses 3 separate points in the overnight hormonal cascade simultaneously. If this video made a difference, subscribe and give it a like. Share it with someone over 60 who is doing everything right and still cannot understand why the fat is not moving. The answer is probably mineral deficiency, and the fix is $1 a day. In the next video, I'm covering the blood test that measures whether your overnight fat-burning window is actually open. Most physicians do not order it routinely. I will give you the exact name and explain what the result means. Comment below and tell me if you watched the 2 a.m. video and came back for this one. I read every comment. Your questions shape what I research next. Keep investigating. I will see you in the next one.